So if you manage a vehicle fleet, you know this feeling, right? Choosing the right software is absolutely critical, but honestly, it feels less like a choice and more like trying to find your way through a maze blindfolded. But what if you had a map? Does this feel familiar? You're just drowning in options and every single vendor is telling you they're the perfect fit. It's a massive problem in this space, and it's exactly what we're going to break down today. So let's just call it what it is, the fleet software maze. You know that feeling of being completely lost, surrounded by all these different paths, and none of them look right? And at the very heart of this maze is just a constant barrage of marketing noise. Every vendor's got a different pitch, they use different jargon, they make different promises. Trying to sift through all of that to find what's actually true, well, that's the real challenge. And this, of course, leads to some major frustrations. You've got vendors making claims that totally conflict with each other. You're stuck trying to compare apples to oranges, which is impossible. You're always worried you're going to miss some critical feature gap. And it all just adds up to hours and hours of wasted time on sales calls that, let's be honest, go nowhere. But what if you could just cut through all that noise? Let's talk about the solution, about finding a clearer, much simpler path forward. And here it is. This is the core promise from our source, Fleet Management Advisor. And it's so powerful because it's so simple. Compare your options based on facts, not marketing fluff. I mean, that's the whole idea right there. So how do they actually do it? Well, it's all about taking that chaos and forcing it into a single, consistent framework. See, when every single vendor is measured by the exact same yardstick, you can finally make those true apples-to-apples comparisons and spot the critical feature gaps almost instantly. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Let's break down the mechanics, which you'll see are designed to be incredibly simple. It's really just a simple 3-step process. First, you define your reality, what kind of fleet you have and where you operate. Second, you tell the tool what's non-negotiable for you, your absolute must-have features and integrations. And then third, boom, you get your results, a clear, customized shortlist. And the output you get is just brilliantly simple. It's not just some random list of names. It's a real, actionable analysis. You can see right away which vendors are a strong fit, which are maybe a partial fit, and which ones are a weak fit for your specific needs. This simple visual tells you exactly where you should be focusing your attention. Now, this is crucial. This is not a one-size-fits-all tool. Its real power is in its specialization, in how it tailors these comparisons for very, very different kinds of fleets. So, let's say you have an electric fleet. The comparison lens totally shifts to what matters for you. We're talking about the quality of the EV analytics, understanding the charging infrastructure, and all those real-world reporting signals that are totally unique to electric vehicles. But for a construction fleet, the priorities are completely different. Here, the focus is all about job site visibility, and this is a big one, managing utilization across a mixed OEM fleet. When you have equipment from a whole bunch of different manufacturers. And then you've got service fleets. They have their own unique set of needs, right? So the comparison prioritizes the depth of the maintenance workflows, how it handles work orders, and, super important, how easy it is to actually roll out to your technicians in the field. And the list just keeps going. Trucking and logistics, rental fleets, huge enterprise fleets. The key takeaway here is that each one gets its own tailored comparison, making sure the criteria are always relevant to that industry's specific challenges. Okay, this all sounds pretty great, right? But it brings up a huge question. Why should you trust these comparisons? And that brings us to our final, and maybe the most important point, building trust through total transparency. Just look at this comparison. It lays it all out perfectly. The old way is all about marketing claims and bias info you get from sales teams, which of course can hide those critical gaps. The Fleet Management Advisor way, it's built on structured data, consistent scoring, clear risk signals, and an approach that's about education, not sales. It's a totally different mindset. And this whole thing really hangs on one key principle: documented scoring logic. What that means is the system isn't some black box. The entire methodology, the how and the why behind every single rating, is laid out for you, and it's applied consistently to every vendor. That's how you get a truly level playing field. Ultimately, this is all about empowerment. The source material is super clear on this. This is an informational tool for you to do a structured evaluation. It's not a sales tool. It's not going to tell you what to buy. It's going to give you the organized data you need to decide for yourself. Which brings us right back to where we started. The choice is pretty clear. You can keep wandering through that confusing maze of marketing, or you can use a clear map that's built on structured data. The real question is, which path are you going to choose?